We are lecturers at the University of the West Indies in the Portuguese and Brazilian Studies section. What is happening is that we intend to launch a Bachelor of Arts degree in Portuguese and Brazilian Studies, hopefully 2017 September. So we have started a year of activities to encourage people to consider the program, to let people know that Portuguese is an area of study, to let them know all the wonderful things about Brazil, all the experiences and stuff that we've had, so that in 2017 September we will have a great flux of students, hopefully, coming in to study the new BA.
What are some of those wonderful things about Portuguese and Brazil, Ms. Martins-Padley?
Well, it's funny how Trinidad and Brazil are so similar and so different at the same time. But I think the influence, the importance of the culture to the way the language has developed in both countries has a very important key to what people could expect from the program, from the show, for anything that involves Brazil. The students are always excited during the classes about, this is so, yeah, we could be doing this, or we already do this in Trinidad. So when they see that they are learning something, but they actually can relate to where they live in, is really rewarding to see that they get more passionate about it.
What are some of the ways that people already interact? Or you spoke about circumstances where students say, okay, well, we do this already, or we can't do this. What are those items?
One of the similarities, I think, would be the comparison between our stick fighting and capoeira. You understand? They both came out of the same kind of slavery, a means of the slaves trying to rebel against the slave masters, but hiding it in the form of a dance, so the slave master doesn't really know that they're fighting. And in the same way, the music, our chantwells started singing for the stick fighters, and the samba music developed in the same way, with them singing for the capoeiristas at the point in time. So, both of our music came out of the same kinds of rhythm. So that's one of the things that we have similar. The foods are similar. When I went to Brazil, it was very interesting that I was able to live there for nearly 5 years and not get any illnesses because of the food, because the foods are kind of like, they're different, but, the same but different.
But I like the fact that you speak about capoeira and the similarities between that art form as well as stick fight, and then you look at some of the other similarities in terms of like the sacred space, the circle, the importance of sharing
Correct.
that energy or that ashe. But you also speak about immersion and being nearly 5 years in Brazil.
Nearly 5 years.
I'm wondering how important it is to any new language, where we talk about Portuguese in this case, to actually have that immersion, because I know capoeira would actually give opportunity for that immersion right now, with people singing songs and actually being involved in the culture a little more. But how important is that immersion?
Well, you learn about a language, but there is just so much a book and a teacher can show you. So when you see for yourself the foods that you actually read about, the sports that you read about, the events, the museums, the historical monuments and everything, I think that makes you more passionate about it as well. And who knows, we might be producing more teachers for the future, more people who would be willing to be travelers of the woods.
We haven't really spoken about the Brazilian soul. So what is the Brazilian soul? When will it be? And how can people get a little more acquainted with it?
Okay, the Brazilian Soul is the first of the year of events that we have planned to promote Portuguese and Brazilian studies. It takes place next week, Wednesday. Trinidad celebrated 54 years of independence yesterday, but Brazil will be celebrating next week, Wednesday, 194 years of independence. And it also marks 100 years since the first samba song was recorded. So that is why this year is so important, and we decided to start things off this year. So next week, Wednesday, the 7th of September at 6:30 p.m., Central Bank Auditorium is where the show is going to be. The tickets are priced at $250. We are going to have 5 local artists who will be performing in Portuguese. So we have Jarell Forbes, Candice Alcantara, Devon Seal, Marlon DeBeek, and they have a chick named Heather McIntosh, who they say to sing. She's supposed to be there as well.
Now, some of the names you're calling, I'm very impressed and very happy, and say, but they're going to be there, boy, that's something to look at. But in terms of, well, we see and the Parang Association, they're talking about having a little more Latin flavor throughout the year. I'm wondering what is the space that samba would actually fill inside that kind of space?
I think because of the similarity between the samba and the calypso, because it was born out of the same kind of need for expression, because it carries the same kinds of feelings and moods, etc., I think there is a space for it. We have been actually very impressed with the reaction that we've gotten from John Public, who have, you know, come out to support and have been buying tickets. So tickets are really going quickly. So we just have a few more. So people who are interested really need to contact us as soon as possible. I forgot to mention that you can call or WhatsApp 383-9592, 299-8543, or 384-7205 for tickets. We would also like to say a special thank you to our corporate sponsors, because Corporate Trinidad has also come forward. Because one of the things that we have done, as I said, we're planning a BA, so it meant that we needed to reach out to the secondary school students who would be entering the university system come next year. So because of that, we're having a matinee show at 1 o'clock at the same Central Bank next week, Wednesday, and Corporate Trinidad has sponsored the children, so the children get to come for free. So we'd like to say a special thank you to Angostura, TTMF, Fernandez, Blink B Mobile, NGC, LP, the Brazil Link, the Plant People, NLCB, Gael the Channel, Answer Coatings, Simon's Musical Supplies, Miss Braffett, and Akan and Volta Miuda.
Now, you've spoken a little bit about your experience in Brazil. I can hear from your L's and your R's that Hila, you can speak about your experience coming from Brazil into Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, it has been 4 years, and it has been, it's, as I said in the beginning, it's so similar, so different, but I think the best thing to me that was, it was really great that it was similar was the people's hospitality. In Trinidad, people are very warm, and they really welcome you into their house, and you know, and when I first learned what lime meant, I was like, yes, let's lime. And food is kind of similar, but food is always a shock wherever you go. But I think, and I come from a place in Brazil where it's very warm, like Trinidad, the weather is similar, so it was not too difficult to adapt. Sometimes you just have, you know, a little tabanca, you miss family, you miss home, and you will miss your friends. But it's really nice to be able to adapt so easily because people really are welcoming here.
What would you tell, what have you been using as some of the selling points to people to come into the BA next year, please, God?
The wonderful experiences that we've had in Brazil, the fact that Brazil is one of the emerging economies. We have the BRIC block of nations, which is, you know, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and Brazil is amongst them. So a lot of people tend to think northwards when they think of study. I think I was probably one of the few who went southwards. When everybody else was doing SATs trying to get into the United States, I went south, and I was able to get a scholarship to study in Brazil. And it opened my eyes to a lot of things. There are a lot of things in Brazil that we don't think about. Trinidad being only 54 years old, to have a nation that shares so much of our heritage and so many similarities with us, that is 194 years old, we have a lot that we can learn from them. And it avoids us repeating some of the mistakes that they might have made, learning from their errors in going forward. So I think because of the similarities of the culture, it's easy for you to fit in. And there's a lot of opportunity for growth, a lot of technological advancement is taking place in Brazil. It's one of the greatest places to do eye surgery currently, you understand? And it's close to home.